They're answering them
Well,
as they
this
come in.
is an NQ Q&A, so I don't know what did you expect.
This has to be done his way or no way, so we have to accept this decision.
Hey,
and
he
go.
answered my
Well,
question.
it's definitely not helping like the whole game like atmosphere here. You know what I mean? Like it's not. Like...
It's not what was advertised. It was advertised that you can do whatever you want. We weren't trying to be forced to be poor, to be specialized.
Bait and switch.
Yeah, hard. That's what I wanted, the versatility and the creativity, and now it's don't do anything.
Slightly irks me, to be honest, that they've been advertising this game when it's not anywhere near complete, to be honest. Like, I've seen two different ads on YouTube.
Ads are misleading.
Why are they saying that like the though?
Yeah, but
this isn't the player's fault.
That we moved from a building game where they sold dreams of freely being able to build things to an economic simulation.
Completely screwed. They have to go all the way out to Alioth just to get their schematics.
I think they said they were going to fix that because of fuel issues. You couldn't have fuel on other planets.
Yeah, I think there are.
It's still not implemented correctly.
Yeah, it was promised specifically.
What would happen if we did a wipe? There would be so many organizations that would quit. People would get real bent out of shape, and they would lose over 70% of their player base right off the top.
And they should.
Why do we keep talking?
One thing I've noticed is, so I've soloed most of this, and I will
finish. Hey, let the newbie talk. Come on.
Nobody talks about the solo.
So, but I am a solo player. I've only owned the game. Will completely no new player coming into this game will want to play this game, let alone pay $30 every 3 months. The way it is in its current state, you have no PvE content whatsoever to be speaking of. You can now no longer build a ship of your choice anymore. Even you're stuck right now in this game. You're stuck now in this game, literally digging for ore and doing nothing but ore, and that's it. There's no other content to this game. The other content was built.
That's the thing, man. My big counterpoint to that is they advertised something different.
And no, they have not. You complain about
yes, they have. Yes, they have. He explicitly said, "I want people to specialize. You're supposed to specialize." That is not what is advertised.
But it is advertised that
it was so many valuable information and opinions on Discord, on the forums, and so many of them got not even an answer from NQ stuff. And I think that yes, it's a deal that
about a year of game time. All right. Now that I go look into my account, it still only shows my 3-month subscription. I already paid $70 for the year's subscription. I've already contacted the NQ about this or send a support ticket in, but I don't know how long that's going to take.
On their own, especially if they're working and they don't have the time.
Okay.
It's just that you're not.
I agree with that.
Well, if you do it, then if you say do it, then make it a little bit more accessible.
You cannot or do not kickstart a virtual civilization by forcing interdependencies between the player base by making things harder for individual players. That's just not how it works, because if you do that, there will be no one who play to begin with, and there's a lot of things that is wrong with that kind of approach. Like, to begin with, that's very condescending to the player base to say that you need to pay us money to practically be some kind of a lowly member of some big organization if you want to play the game properly, as JC or NQ imply. And another thing is, that's just not how gamers think. They don't want to get into a game to be some kind of a lowly member of some group or something. If they do, it has to be because it's their choice, not because the game required them to do that to be able to progress efficiently in the game. They want to do great things, and you can still have a game where a lot of people will group together to accomplish even greater things, but there has to be incentive to begin with for individual players to achieve what they would normally want to be able to achieve by playing alone. So there has to be a base desire or goal that can be satisfied just by playing the game by yourself, and then the greater things will come organically from people coming together to do even greater things. But you don't do that by making things harder for everyone. You just let things the way they are. Like, people can still build ships easily by themselves, and the kind of civilization that will come up from that kind of pace of playstyle is one where there's just individual players can still easily make their own ships, but a bigger organization, for example, will have a lot more ships, and that's a very good balance. You don't have to like make things harder for individual players to make their own ships, because then you are forcing people to essentially slave their time away in a video game that they have to pay like every month or something. That's just not gonna work. Like, if you want to kickstart a civilization, there's an example on Second Life, for example. It's a virtual civilization, and people do have interdependencies between each other. For example, if you're a 3D modeler, you probably don't know how to script that well, and the 3D modelers on Second Life, they usually use other people's script that they sell, but they didn't achieve that by making scripting harder or inaccessible to everyone. They just let things happen, and eventually people who are good at scripting will make better things they compared to people who are not that good at scripting. And that's how interdependencies will happen normally from people who are just better at doing things. And you can achieve that without making the game less enjoyable or fun for individual players, because you need those individual players to still want to play the game even if they are not a part of any group or something. That's essentially the thing that I want to say.